Russia counterpoints, midterms, BA, universities. Wages, Russia counterplan, midterms, BA, university. Everyone said? Wages not going for vacancy, no protections, but evidence specific to self-creating free trade agreement arguments indicates that only House GOP can actually solve that now. Under the Russian counterplay, not going for appropriations, only just competitiveness because the year's going to be answered in the 1 AR. I'm going to concede the Graham card, which indicates there's no risk of U.S.-Russia war, means there's no terminal impact of their terrorism argument because it assumes the U.S.-Russia war now. On to the midterm DA. First off, you need this. You can group it first. Republicans are going to win the House now. So want to see silver evidence, preferred silver is statistical math from my lay bureau. So I tend to from college spreadsheet second, never crushing prodigy is going to begin predicting the 2008 primary election results with some accuracy and often opposite to better known political pollsters. Then moved on to the general election where it correctly predicted both presidential winners for the United States and District of Columbia and Crystal Ball predicts GOP take over Crystal Ball 930. Our view of the overall view of the Republican gains remains unchanged. So 40 since we are changing the ratings, keep raising that list of intended seats in there. Relative degrees of vulnerability consider we're changing the House ranking 21 House races all the direction of GOP and it's the most accurate soft no. 9, 12 we're proud of our work with more than 98% of the contest completed the decade long life of the Crystal Ball and predictions the market show GOP take over electoralmap.net. 10 for the Republican Party will pick up 50 seats historically the party power lose seats in the midterm election 2010 looks like no exception to prediction market ratio not just answering pollsters question they're putting the money where the mouth is and prediction markets the most accurate Berg Nelson and reach 2008 predictions from the markets dominate those to 70% of the time with the predictions made on election year for several months advance persisted both in the long and short term focus but my previous research is the absolute relative accuracy prediction markets very short horizon the markets are accurate months advance market league doing more than the on the polls and down momentum is slowing the TO party won't help them Hansen 10-3 Democrats hopes of holding back the Republican huge gains remain slim they come to Democrats Republicans remain locked into temporal raise the Democrats had hoped the primary victories held by some Tea Party Republicans were cast out and the GOP as too extreme but the effects have not been widespread the GOP is likely to retain the House by a large narrow margin and even if the Dems are increasing voter turnout they still are too far behind Blaine 930 more Republicans and Democrats are extremely are very interested in the upcoming election those who consider themselves part of the Tea Party movement are most interested in the voting group this year a larger number of Republicans are certain that they will vote just out for an advantage of Republicans Spain voters saying they would back the Republican candidate in their district more Republicans and Democrats are backing the Price candidate their evidence is all really old it's from multiple weeks ago our evidence is from our evidence is all from at least 930 which means it's obviously posted they say not intrinsic first off it's obviously intrinsic because it's not question because our evidence indicates the only way it can pass if the GOP holds the House which means you as a policy maker must decide whether or not if the plan would result in the GOP winning the game or if the plan resulted in the Dem winning the election you can't obviously make that choice now it's intrinsic our link proves our link proves that it's a necessary result of the plan our internal link indicates that only a House GOP can actually allow to pass 2 this inaccurately reflects the role of the ballot symbol of endorsement the plan not pass which makes political ramifications joins your decision to endorse it 3 it kills the ground is predictable could be applied to every BA and any standard limit is arbitrary and equally unpredictable for it best you can only do one policy maker choosing whether or not to do the plan which means taking others voting actions into account it takes precedence your decision 5 counter interpretation you are informed system not a policy maker that's best because it's obviously more real world now the next argument is Senate obviously would block it they have no evidence on this the one evidence is really good indicates that a House GOP would assure it would pass and House is the only thing that's key. Easton 10 on Capitol Free Trade Agreement with the South Korean languages. The trade deal is the politically influential labor unions that hold on leading House Democrats more evidence. Hotter 2010. One of the reasons Obama helping to get FTA 3 after the members to do with expertise and Democrats who lose seats to the business Republicans prove. Obama's most important political allies that tries to promote new trade initiatives. Clinton says success with winning immigration support for aggressive trade and liberalization was tied to the backing received from Republican majorities that were actually scratch this argument. I don't know why I started reading that. Okay, they say labor union term. First off, Dems lack labor union support. The status quo greenhouse. 917 political analysts and union leaders say their efforts might not be enough for union members like other important members of the Democrat base are not feeling enthusiastic about the party. That deepens the Democrats' chance to success. The rank file have disappeared in the House and Senate haven't done much to create jobs. The Democrats and their labor allies are no longer threatening to withhold endorsements from the conservative moderate Democrats and GOP voter turnout outweighs greenhouse 917. They're always effective, but what they've seen as a cycle of membership demonstrates independence and voters independently of union bosses. The Republicans would go out of the Democrats in November even with the labor's big push because of their enthusiasm got great failures from the Republican Party. I don't think the Republicans even want our votes. They just want to go frustrated. So we don't even vote. So they'd have an easy walkover. Now is next argument is no piecemeal reform. I'll do my legwork here. First off, plan results in downplaying the midterms. Action on immigration is key to motivate Latino voters to get out and vote, which swings the election. Once the Lawrence evidence more evidence to not through the enthusiasm gaps of the races the key portion of 2008 electoral that the disillusion tracking poll from Latino decision shows the president's approval among Latinos of dropping although immigration is the most important issue to these voters. Obama hasn't done much more than we have a topic on the speech. Those numbers should be awarded to the Democrats. Republicans hostility towards Latinos is enough to make Latinos vote Democrat. If Democrats don't deliver key legislative priorities to Latino voters, they may not for Republican voting the other way is worse. Isn't likely to get the polls. Now their evidence indicates they don't like piecemeal. Our evidence is newer and indicates that the Latinos aren't mobilized in South Dakota means we control the uniqueness to this, and you prefer our evidence Yeah, and piecemeal is popular. Come Drake 9/11. There's no prayer for compromise reform will pass. What's needed now is concerted leadership small. But good deal is better than no deal. Also, Gonzalez, president of the South Florida Voter Registration Project, and compare the coalition major Hispanic groups. We want to compare the comprehensive reform. Right now, we need a life, but we need to take care of the people that we can. The drawdown, the down payment strategy has been endorsed by a huge coalition of groups organized as reform. Immigration for America. The business community ought to lobby Republicans to make a down payment on green cards for science graduates. And no chance of comprehensive reform means applicants will support piecemeal reform fully. 2010 Merkley shot down prospects for comprehensive immigration reform. Bill telling constituents reform isn't going to happen. The bad spend news for advocates. The best hope for reforming the immigration system lies with small bills and immigrants' rights groups have attempted to push for these bills. Measures headwind. The sky doesn't fall and people are getting reelected. May show the members of Congress that leaning into the immigration issue could help them politically. And next argument is cooperation. Or actually, also, plan would still get spun as skilled as part of the broader immigration debate. Dallas Morning 2008. Actually, I'm not going to read that. I don't need to read that. Yeah. They say cooperation in status quo. I'm going to do my impact work here. First off, the DA always ensures case versus 10 case of great evidence North Korean aggression access every impact fall from nuclear use causes rapid climate change, also depletion, economic collapse, and famine, and the resulting geopolitical tension to make all their impacts inevitable and risk of conflict uniquely high now. Following 2010, we can expect to make more the same for North Korea. There's a greater potential for instability in North Korea, controlling spilling health, health discussion, worsening economic conditions, international sanctions, and internal unrest all could continue to create ancient box of danger change. North Korea dealing with North Korea will require closer cooperation between Washington and Seoul. The lingering stalemate of the Chorus FTA is the exception to the otherwise strong U.S. bilateral rock relationship and probability risk of nuclear war is higher than ever. War to test now North Korea is within range of U.S. nuclear attack. The Korean Peninsula is an area with a chance to nuclear war, the highest in the world. North Korea responding to threatening to build as many weapons as possible. The state could make 8 to 9 bomb sites north. This is abundant natural uranium, which British own great nuclear arsenal. And it turns the case. Tobin 2010. Kirk. U.S. Trade Representative stressed the importance of trade agreements to doubling U.S. efforts for 5 years, 95% customers U.S. products and services lie outside the United States. The capacity of those customers to purchase U.S. products and services growing faster than consumer demand in the United States. The rest of the world is not standing up in terms of trade agreements if we don't develop agreements with Korea and American companies, and workers are going to be left behind. Now, they say relations now are one and see evidence much better indicates that only see if we can solidify relations to actually lead to a solution to the North Korean agreement, and more evidence going to that strategic relationship may be grounded in security options. But today's $82 million bilateral trade is the most dynamic aspect of a strategic relationship. Trade agreement represents an opportunity for leaders in Washington and Seoul to upgrade their strategic relationship, reap benefits of close trade relationship. There, evidence just says there's been cooperation on military, there's just been military cooperations and drills and stuff like that. This is the reason why the bilateral relationship is stable and status quo. He says BMD. First off, there's no reason BMD would be able to solve for our impact. Be able to solve for the impact because North Korea doesn't even have ballistic missiles in the first place. They would probably try to use the dirty bomb to sneak it out to terrorists or something like that, or they would use the bomb to just try to detonate it in let's say the South Korean city. And Obama and it fails. Surrenders Unity 2000. The past decades have remained inevitable. Missile defense have been characterized by exaggerated claims of success and problems with performance that later proved false. The program became a false claim that the promise with X-ray lasers. The GAO remains the only independent review of the missile defense. The GAO found the SDI officially claimed that 5 to 7 tests were successful. After the GAO found a pattern of misleading claims, forcing them to conclude that officials inaccurately portrayed tests as successes when they were not. Inaccurate reports include claims of tests that were 90% success. And Obama would just use land-based system. He's not trying to push for maritime. Erickson 2010 President sought to deploy land-based Patriot missile defense system. The steps the Obama administration are insufficient to fail to recognize the 10 more global nature than comes to the current future nuclear arsenal. And we wouldn't use maritime. Karaganov 2010 producing the U.S. administration came up with a plan for creating the putting in place in 2015. Some new interceptor missiles the interceptors can be stationed in Romania, Bulgaria. This also is an the card continues. Moreover, the Americans have declared this new regional defense system in the future will be implemented by the Aegis system now. Also, the counterpunch all the out, which means there's no risk of offense here. There's only risk that Korea is unstable right now. It's going to cause a global nuclear war, and also they don't assume the United States nuking Korea. That's what our evidence indicates. That was the more evidence. Now, on the university's advantage. First off, foreign enrollments going to status quo. That's the Fisher evidence they actually assume. Also assumes for trends in arena new evidence here. More evidence. International Heritage Review 912. The United States remains a destination for choice for students pursuing advanced degrees in science and technology. Is the favorite students for Japan, South Korea, Mexico, and India. As English film major instruction at universities across Southern Europe, U.S. universities have to work harder there. Evidence only assumes that the global labor pool not from the countries that we actually need the skilled workers from, which is what our evidence assumes. Now we have adequate attribution check in the status quo. He says it's not fast enough. I don't think there's actually a warrant in their evidence that says that. Our evidence indicates we've had it since the Cold War. More evidence from 2001. Satellite plan to begin development in 1989 are now aloft. They carry special sensors that can detect high velocity spin-off particles from nuclear devices due to small size and velocity. These particles no amount of shielding, block them, not lead, Earth or subterranean. The satellites are foolproof in detecting locations of uranium throughout the world. Now, also, there's no impact to terrorism. His only argument is that they're trying to get nukes. He's conceded the Chapman evidence indicate they can't use the nukes. They become radioactive scrap metal. They can't actually deliver them into the United States, which means even if they get them, there's no way they can use them, which means there's no risk of an impact. There's also no risk of their terminal miscalculation impact. Our Quinlan evidence is way better in any case that there's no possibility for accidents to occur. McCarthy's going to read more of this card in the one and R anyway.
All right, let's talk about the dissent. First, okay. What piece of evidence? It seems like we both agree that Dems will probably win the Senate right now. You read cards saying Dems hate steel test. I want to know why the House is key, other than your 1 and C card, which was a line long that said, if GOP
there
wins
isn't
the House,
the same protectionist Democrats lying in the Senate. And
there are no
well.
protectionist Democrats in the
We
Senate.
don't read any evidence on that actually says that, but the 1 and C evidence
Why
is
would
very
House
good.
Democrats be more protectionist than Senate Democrats, and what differentiation
That's
does
just
that evidence draw?
First off, that's just been the way that the voting has come out in the status quo. Second,
Really?
yeah, our evidence indicates that specifically if the
You don't have a
GOP
piece-
controls the House, they will get it done.
Why?
Uh,
You don't have a
because
card
only-
that says the House is more protectionist than the Senate. You have a card that says
No, but
the
we
House
have a
is
card that
barrier
says
to
if they
stick to.
win the
That does
House,
not indicate that the House
passage is assured.
Why?
Because they have enough Republicans to already do it in the Senate. It's not a major.
What card
Democratic
do you have
majority.
that says they have enough Republicans?
Look, the
to do
1
it?
and C evidence
The
is
Democrats will
very
have a
specific on
majority
this.
in the Senate, even if the Republicans did, even if there were some Democratic votes. 40 Democrats are enough to filibuster the Senate. It seems like you need to win more GOP wins in the Senate than you do in the House.
Our evidence
Like,
indicates
you
that
don't-
it's already going to be able to pass the Senate. The House is the only
Okay,
thing that's
so the way this goes is I ask you a question that makes sense, and you go, our evidence says it'll pass.
Yes,
and then I
because
ask
you don't
another
have
question
card
that goes,
one
our
on
evidence
this.
it'll pass.
You don't have
Okay.
card one on this.
Okay.
Our evidence is pretty good.
Logical argument, stupid freshman. Let's talk about these linked questions. You read a couple of cards that indicate that Hispanics, the plan mobilizes Hispanics. I'll read your Condrake card. There's not a prayer that comprehensive reform will pass, but there's a slim one that is smaller down payment measure money. Important Latino groups plus Feinstein are pushing a package to legalize undocumented workers in the farm industry and young people going to college or the military. Your evidence indicates that the DREAM Act and the Ag Jobs Bill, both of which are ways of legalizing undocumented immigrants, are piecemeal proposals that Hispanics would like. Where do you read a piece of evidence that indicates high-skilled immigration for
I'm
PhD
so
recipients
glad
and
that you asked
master's
this question,
recipients?
so I get to read this card again. All right.
Yes.
First card that I read talks about the down payment strategy. Says the business community ought to lobby Republicans to make a down payment on green cards
Correct.
for science.
You are
graduates.
special. That is true.
Yes,
Your
that is
argument
exactly-
makes two arguments.
No.
One, it says that Hispanics want illegal
No.
legalization.
This evidence-
Second, it says
You're wrong.
business should push Republicans
No,
for
no,
green
you're
cards.
absolutely wrong.
Where
This
does it
evidence
draw those
indicate-
two arguments together?
The article says the down payment strategy would be successful
Okay,
in garnering
a
Latino
down
support.
payment for the
And
Chamber
this
of
evidence
Commerce
says the
is
business
different from a
community-
down
it says-
payment for the Hispanic lobbies like the National
No, this
Council
evidence
of Blah, blah,
indicates
blah.
that that would be the down
It seems
payment
like if
strategy.
this was an argument, you would have a card that says, oh,
Alright.
I don't know, Hispanics like green cards for high school
Cardi,
immigrants.
you wanna be-
You have yet to
you
provide a
wanna
piece of
be-
evidence on this question.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about the GOP. We talked about that. The internal links to solve North Korean conflict. The U.S. and South Korea have been engaging in massive military exercises.
They're not
to solve
massive.
the North
They had a relatively small one. Our evidence indicates that stuff's not
This is
sustainable.
thousands
without
of troops.
stuff.
Your evidence indicates that we're cooperating on defense
I'm
now.
not going to answer your question.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be midterms.